Well, this burn happened a little sooner than I wanted. I got the call at Easter today. Had a fire from a neighbor that was burning yesterday, struck back loose, and it got through all that stuff I had hinge cut, which I was gonna burn next year, but that's all right. We're just getting a line here. We got several rural fire departments helping out, and so trying to keep it contained. We got some big strong winds coming though, so a little bit dangerous, but got a bunch of vehicles back here, and you hate that no matter how it is, but they're doing a good job. Got good back burn right here along this trail, so. Didn't torch the cedars through here as well. I'm kind of glad we're not into next year, because that's where I was going to clean up a lot of those cedars and knock them down, do some more TSI through that. So here goes a pack rat. Pack rats are losing their nest. Oh man, I wish I had the BB gun here. 22. Yeah, I was just checking a few of these last spot fires, and I think we got her pretty well blacked around. Humidity's coming up tonight, so that ought to help. Well, still kind of assessing some of this, and it looks pretty bad looking at it right now, but this is all stuff I was gonna burn next spring. Oh, and this is all that stuff that I kind of hinge cut here about a month and a half ago, but just got some cleaning up to do on these trails and stuff. But might have burnt some of the younger oaks that I didn't necessarily want, but I would have liked to have slow burned it through here. But it's not too bad. I think a lot of this stuff looks like it'll survive, and gonna have some good new light to the floor for sure. Definitely got that. It definitely got hot through here. It's crazy. I knew there was a lot of fuel down, but some of this area where I had some tunnels, it's pretty. It had some speed. Actually, some of these cottonwoods need to be burnt anyway, but it might take that bounce back a little longer than anticipated. But some of this area that I was really hoping was going to be good cover getting in and out might be a little tricky next year. I was hoping to use that kind of cover for 1 year, but it'll clean up. We're going to have a bounce back. That's just part of it. Just a year ahead of anticipated. Gotta trust it though, man. Fire is, and respect it. Here's actually
sit, stay, sit, stay, 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 stay.
Find it, Molly, find it. Find it. Come on, girl, find it, find it. Find it, Molly, find it. Find it, Molly. Good girl. Come on, bring it here. Bring it here. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Well, it's a little bit windy. Just finished up turkey hunting and kind of spot spraying some of these grasses out of my clover. It's just stuff like this you kind of got to double up. Time's limited, and you know, it's crazy. A lot of this stuff you don't usually see. I mean, it's just stuff you had to do. I just want to kind of show, I mean, these are, I'll come back with a sprayer, but these are kind of things that, just to maintain your plots, a lot of times you got to do stuff like that. So it's just early enough that the clover hasn't jumped. I'm trying to kill some of the bigger grass, and I'll come back with a boom if I need to later. Well, just got done doing some turkey hunting. Got my butt whooped. Anyway, burning off some Milo stubble here. Gonna come back and spray this here in a couple weeks, and then try to plant some soybeans in here. But it's just green enough that it's going to be a kind of a slow creep across there. I needed a little bit of a breeze, so got plenty of break around it. Be a good way to clean it up. Just wetting down some logs here, and I sprayed over here and noticed something white. Got a little bonus shed right there. Late one of the year, wasn't even looking. Cool. That may be the 8th that Lane passed up this year. Kind of looks like him. Last year's shed, obviously, but he kind of looks like that buck we call Blades, or Blades Jr. Well, I didn't get near as much of the weed growing back in my Milo plot that I burned off a couple weeks ago, so it's just been kind of cool, but I'm gonna go ahead and spray over the top here, get some of these grasses out of the spot. And I'll probably extend that plot just a little bit, but then I'll come in and there'll be Roundup Ready soybeans that I'm gonna go with, so should be able to, I'm gonna spray another plot that I had in Milo also, so hopefully this will kind of work all right with the four-wheeler here. All right, this little Milo patch was on the edge of some CRP last year. It's gonna be a good little bean spot this year, kind of a little pocket just outside of what we have contracted. It's down a little bit of a floodplain creek bottom, but it's high enough unless we have really, really high water, which should be all right. But it's a nice little hidey hole pocket. We'll see. I'm just gonna spray all this grass out of it underneath and get some beans in here. It'd be better than nothing. Got a nice little gap. I'm actually racing to try to beat this rain. And this is a spot that I burnt that Milo from last year and came back and sprayed it. But I'm gonna come back in with some Roundup Ready beans. I got another spot across the creek here. It's going to be another good setup, so I'm hoping to get these in. It's been a super wet spring again, which has been good. I can't really complain about that, but just wanting to get these in. Thought about waiting and letting them get in a little bit later, but I'd also like to kind of start kind of my rotation in here, putting in some rye and wheat and some of that and kind of do that. So I want them to kind of be, you know, not real late as far as the green on them, where I can kind of come in and top dress them with stuff that you really don't need to, you know, drill in. You can just broadcast into it. So anyway, hopefully this is a good setup. I'm gonna get the tractor fired up here and we'll get going. Well, just like anything on a little bit of a hobby farm, there's always something, and that's kind of, this is really par for the course right here. Looks like I just lost a pretty good sized bolt here on this, and so I noticed the, well, my little weight for the back of this disc was starting to shift, and I was trying to figure out why, and so fighting this rain, trying to, it's kind of starting to spit a little bit, but gotta take a little break here and get that fixed, and we'll be back on there. I'm gonna probably work it up just a few more times, and then I'm gonna just spread my soybeans. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's one thing with soybeans is I get some low germ beans and plant them a little bit heavy, but I've had good luck with that. And then we can always come in and top dress in the fall, so should be good. Need a little break anyway, get a little drink, so. Just can't get too upset with stuff like this. It's just part of it. That's a rarity. Having the right tools, and just so happened the breakdown's right here by the shed, and my dad, he would have had some tools flying, and we rarely had things come together. So that was a, you know, maybe a 10-minute little intermission and back to it. So can't beat that. Things are falling into place. Just gotta get these on the ground and we'll be good to go. Well, another thing that's kind of par for the course is my larger Earthway spreader, bag spreader. Finally had its last run. I think I left some fertilizer or something in there too long, and the gears got bound up in it. So I've got one of those on order, but I'm using this small little twirly bird type. But I'll be able to see it at least, and these are just little quarter acre plots, so you know what, you can get it done. It takes you a little bit longer, but there's a lot of people, and you know, really I'm not breaking this up as good as I could either. I mean, I don't want to work the ground that much. I'm actually going to start transitioning a little bit more into kind of a no-till type practice. I'm hoping to anyway, but we'll get what we get, and then come back and round up what comes up, you know, with it, and then hopefully, like I said, start coming in here and leaving some of the vegetation for kind of a breakdown fertilizer. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to try to start working these beans in. This spot down here is actually pretty neat. It's the creek kind of winds into a little peninsula here, just off of what we've got in some CRP. But you can see actually this milo stubble is going to create some pretty good thatch too. It's going to hold some moisture. We got a lot of rain coming, so I'm not going to get crazy. It's working up pretty decent. I'm just kind of using these the kind of the chisel blades here, really kind of breaking it up, and I'm just kind of angling it down. But like I said, I'm just gonna. This is how I do a lot of plots, and they're not the the greatest as far as tonnage and what comes out. But I'm not trying to harvest these. This is for the critters, and I'll get the weeds kind of at bay and do what you can. It's kind of a poor man's plot, but I do have the luxury of this tractor, so I can't quite say that. But you could still get it done by hand. But pretty neat though. Got the water flowing. Just a beautiful evening here, getting this all wrapped up. Not the spreader of choice, but I got it done. Well, here it is, June 19th. We've been having temps up in the hundreds, so got up here about 7 and put in a good hour, but this is all we have to deal with for the biggest mountains in Kansas for us. But I got a few other spots I like to mix it up, but just got to get after it. It's crazy how close we're getting. Been dialing in the bow and now throwing some weight in the pack and trying to get after it. So really hot and muggy today, so I don't know what the temp is this morning, but it's definitely muggy. It's got to be equivalent to some altitude, you'd think. Anyway, hope everybody's getting after it. It'll be a good fall coming. That's a pretty good start right there. I love what that milo does for the kind of a thatch layer, but these beans are coming up nice. Just need a nice rain on them now. They're young, but they're up pretty good. They look healthy. Good chance of rain actually coming in tomorrow night. So it got really dry in a hurry. Got 3/4 of an inch on them. Got them to pop. I didn't really break the ground up that much, so there should have been some good soil moisture, but it's been up over 100 here for about the past week, which is typically a little nerve-wracking when you get something popping like that. I just was nervous about the crust, but man, they're up pretty good. So got one other pocket across the creek here. We'll maybe show a little shot of that, but I'm pretty excited about this. This is a nice plot. It's gonna be a good late season draw. Well, I just cleared this little pocket field off here that kind of frost seeded in some clover and chicory, where this kind of devastating burn came through. I want to take a look at that. I mean, you can see even some of those big cottonwoods got scorched, which is actually okay. I didn't really want to hinge them because they were so big. It might have actually done it good and kind of thin them out, but you can just see a ton of young growth through here already. A lot of young oaks. I basically made a little trail where I kind of made a couple mower paths of a clover field, chicory, and then I'm going to kind of taper that into another spot that's another bedding area. But one of these things that I like to do is come in here, see this trail camera set on here while you're making the commotion and noise, just do it once. It's kind of a key, or something that I think is good for less disturbance. So I'm ready to get those hung here. It's June 19th, so it's definitely time to, used to leave them up year round, but now I'm kind of going to take care of my cameras a little better, and we'll see. I'm ready to get them out on a water source. horizontal cover. Now I get to kind of pick where my trails are going. That's kind of how I want to set this up. Based on certain winds, I gotta try to get them in that off-wind position. That's what I'm going to do today with this brush hog. Also got to cut the clover back here. You can see it's kind of struggling, but it needs clipped. We got that rain coming to be perfect. My one cutting in the summer, and I'll come back and do a fall cutting right before. But man, they got a lot of cover out here. It's actually awesome for 1 year, and we're getting all that new growth. So pretty exciting. I'm gonna get my paths mowed, and probably won't do any more videoing, but pretty awesome.